So I mentioned earlier that I didn't like these engine stands very much because I didn't feel like they were stable. Somewhere along the way I acquired this one, which has a longer axle on the front, kind of like an old John Deere with those long axles instead of just a single axle. I always felt like that single axle stand was more likely to want to fall over. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I felt. My prejudice, my own prejudice about things like that. So anyway, what I can do now is I can take this part, this, and you slide these handles off. And they will come off. These just been on there for a long time, but you slide these handles off, this comes out. I can put this on the back of that motor. Big ball. Alright, come apart now. I know you can, I know you will. It's been a long time. You've been used this way. I know you can do it. Faith in me. You might want to put a little oil. Oh. Might want to put a little oil on that shaft. This other side is going to want to come off first. That's okay. This side I did that. That's okay. So when that comes off, you can take this part off right here. See that part on the back of this motor. This right here. Got one screw. I know I'm going to need 4 screws. Probably 4 about that length. Of course, I dropped that one right down in there. Man, that one's not long enough anyway. So I'm gonna... As with most things, this is not going to be just easy and trouble-free. That's okay. You can overcome here. So, what we got going on is that this is a straight shift Chevy bell housing. No, flywheel. Well, pardon me, I always use the wrong word out of habit or something. But you can see that if this was pulled up tight against the back of the engine, these nuts under here would be against that flywheel, and then I wouldn't be able to turn the motor over. And the whole purpose of this is I want to spin this motor over so that I can check the compression and do a whole lot of other fun stuff. An option would be to spacer this out. So you can't. My first thought was I'll turn these around backwards, these nuts, but it wouldn't make any difference because you're either going to have the head or the nut of that bolt. So either way, and I thought, well, I'll put this on that side, but then that's going to move this further back this way. And I'm thinking that probably still wouldn't work, although it might buy me. Well, I'm still going to have, yeah, so I'm going to have to think about this, which is better. I might try taking these off, putting this bar back here. That would allow this to come closer to that. Yeah. Let me do that. Let me try that first. First I'll try that. Okay, so I got me some lug nuts I'm going to put on that. I got me some bolts that are long enough. Let's see if this is going to get us to where we want to go here. That might be a problem. Well, at least we're using that kind of bolt. Let's set that aside. Yeah, I had some of these carriage bolts that don't have a head on them, but they go right down in the hole in the back of here, so that actually would not work. But I can still go ahead and put a couple of these lug nuts on for washers, and put this on and see if that gives us enough space to clear. That's what we're trying to clear here. That still ain't enough. I'm going to need longer bolts and more washers. So, alright. First thing I need to do is just go find longer bolts. I guess I can find them other than that. I'll go back to my nut and bolt pile some more. Okay, I did find some longer bolts and some bigger washers, so let's try. See, we can pull one of these out, put one of those. See, this is that much longer. I think y'all can see that. So let's try. Pull one of these out, put one of those in. Get the washer off the back side of that. It's a bigger bolt, but I might need more than that. But that'll get us started. For a spacer. From there, we can figure out what we're going to need. Same thing on the other side. Now, from that, I should be able to tell how much I'm going to need to spacer these out. If you look here, you can see there's the bolt touching. There's the bolt not touching. So probably I might, if I put one of these lug nuts behind that nut, it might be enough. Let's try that. Jump back up here. Let's see if we can just pop this one loose. We just had the lug nut on this outside here. It'll be alright. By the way, those of y'all that are young and you've never done a lot of mechanical work and you think it looks like a lot of fun when you see it on TV and you like to get into it, pay attention to how much time I've spent just doing this one thing. I'm guessing I've been at this for maybe over an hour, and all I'm trying to do is put two bolts in the back of an engine stand. But things are never as easy as they look on TV. Let me go ahead and tell you that now. That way you won't have a high level of expectation when you start doing this sort of thing if you decide to take it up. Often there's a bit more work involved than you expected, and that's okay. That's the way it is. That's the way it's supposed to be. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that's the way it's supposed to be, but sometimes that's the way it is. You wind up having to work more, and every wrench you go and pick up doesn't quite fit. Like that one doesn't quite fit, and that one doesn't quite fit. Got it. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to want to do is put two bolts down in the bottom, down here, and what I want is for this shaft to kind of line up with the back of the engine, because you want to be able to spin this engine over on the engine stand, and to do that you need the engine to be kind of balanced. You need the shaft to be sort of in the middle. Well, you can go by the crankshaft. Here's a crankshaft right there, and you can tell, well, this is a little higher than the crankshaft, but you have to keep in mind you got this much weight on top over the crankshaft, and less weight underneath the crankshaft, so it could be that most of your weight's going to be up here. And it might be, if you look at how this is made, that I want to switch this around. In other words, this here, these lines kind of go straight out and they're higher above it than that. There's a good chance, in reality, this whole thing should be turned one turn, 180-degree turn. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing, honey, babe?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You in your happy place?
Pretty much, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you want me to turn this off so we can talk serious?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying is I think I'm going to flip this thing over because I believe, and I might be wrong, because I'll probably move these in and raise this some. I may just leave that where it is for now, because I'm going to have to take these bolts out of the back here to get this arm hooked down here. But I believe once I pick this up a little bit with this come along, we can do that. So let's go ahead and lift it a little.